There has been wide-ranging speculation about what really is going on at the southern continent, Antarctica. I have shown evidence that there are places that are habitable, that have vegetation and greenery. Now, some have said that those areas that I showed were near the coast, and what I was really looking at was algae. And they are correct, they were near the coast. You could probably debate what we were showing, but I did find something new. Now we're going to be talking about three different things in today's video. This is just the first one. We're going to go back to Venezuela for a little bit, and something that's happening in Colombia as well that we covered a long time ago regarding that dam that nearly collapsed. Now, as I was looking through Antarctica, I came across an area nowhere near the coast. Right here. And I'll zoom out so you can see this is the side of a mountain out in the middle of the continent. Nowhere near the coast. This is hundreds, if not maybe 1,000 miles away. And on the side of this mountain, of just what looks like pure rock and snow, there is vegetation. Now, if this were a continent that were nothing but blowing ice and snow, never changing, there is absolutely no way this could possibly be. There's very clearly something happening with the climate down there. It's changing, and they can't hide it for very much longer. I think this is one of the reasons that they have made it so difficult, if not impossible, to travel there, because people would realize it's not some place that's impossible to live in certain areas. And they want to control it and divvy it up for the powers that be. Now, that all having been said, I just wanted to show you real quick the areas that I had identified before that were green. They were, in fact, over here by the coast. But it still seemed to me that surrounded by all that ice, that this shouldn't really even be possible for algae. Salt water gets colder than fresh water does before it turns to ice. And here's a second location not too far away where we see these patches. And then there's another one over here that just seems a little odd. And of course, there it is. Had it in the wrong year. Side of a mountain, nowhere near the water, and what looks like grass or trees. And just to give you a size measurement here, see, we'll do this in meters. Not huge, 15 meters across, but for Antarctica, that's a lot. So we'll leave that there, and I'll let you guys make your own judgments, and of course I will leave the coordinates so you can go to your own copy of Google Earth Pro, because you can't use the web-based version and do that. But it is now very close to put up or shut up time for the opposition in Venezuela. The man on the right is Juan Guaido, however he wants to pronounce that. And he has now proclaimed himself to be the leader of Venezuela, unelected. And our government has acknowledged him. And this is going to cause, you mark my words, this is going to cause a shooting war. Pompeo, the Secretary of State, has already reached out to him, made a phone call to him, and said that he's going to work with him. And you can find that all over the internet. we have a problem. Because this guy, unelected, is now going to proclaim himself to be the leader of the president of OPEC. See, many don't realize that as well, that Venezuela is now the president of OPEC. And I'm just going to play a quick clip for you from the leader of Venezuela, speaking in his own words. And they'll translate here on the screen for you.
Y Venezuela es centro de la noticia. Compañeros civiles y compañeros militares, hombres y mujeres del pueblo, está en marcha un golpe de Estado ordenado desde Washington, ordenado desde el cartel de Lima contra el gobierno legítimo y constitucional que yo presido. Y les digo, el pueblo venezolano sabrá responder cualquier intentona, cualquier acción que se pretenda hoy, mañana o cuando se pretenda. Y la revolución bolivariana se ha venido preparando para enfrentar y derrotar cualquier quinta columna de traidores y traidoras que pretenda violentar la vida interna de Venezuela, llámese como se llame. Vamos a salir airosos y vamos a salir bien. En el pasado mes de septiembre, por toda la prensa y los cables mundiales, se entregó a todos los gobiernos del cartel de Lima esta nota de protesta diplomática donde le exigimos una rectificación de sus posiciones sobre Venezuela en 48 horas o el gobierno de Venezuela tomará las más urgentes y crudas medidas diplomáticas para la defensa de la integridad, la soberanía y la dignidad de nuestra Venezuela. 48 horas a los gobiernos del cartel de Lima para que rectifiquen su política intervencionista y grosera.
I will let that stand on its own. That's how close the march is to war. Now, last spring, we covered this issue in Colombia, this dam that was on the verge of collapse that they somehow miraculously saved. Well, guess what? They have found another problem in the mountainside, and they think it's a killer, that this might be the end of the Hidroituango Dam in Colombia. And I'll link this article as well, as you can read it. They have found a 120-foot deep water-filled sinkhole found near the engine room tunnel that's been provisionally discharging water since May. For those of you that aren't aware, there was a great deal of corruption and problems in the building of this dam in Colombia. We covered it extensively when the channel was much smaller. And it was very, very close. In fact, we put up some videos of water bursting through places that it wasn't supposed to and nearly killing people. And they evacuated thousands, I mean tens of thousands of people downstream from this dam. It was going to be the largest natural disaster in South America ever. And somehow they worked and they've created a workaround, but now they have found a new problem. And there's not really going to be any good way to fix this one. It might actually cause the collapse of the mountain this thing is built on. That's how bad this is. So this will be something to watch. According to Gutierrez, Maya, and Antioquia Governor Luis Perez, engineers are investigating how serious the damage is and that they had issued a red alert. And they didn't even know about it. They were trying to fix another problem and all of a sudden discovered it. And there's still people that haven't been able to, return home since, and this was May of last year, so this is 7 months ago. So keep your eyes open. There's issues going on in Antarctica. There are issues going on right in our hemisphere. And things coming that you are not hearing on the mainstream media. And that's telling. We currently have the president of OPEC, founding member of OPEC, major country and former ally of ours, now having one guy be recognized by the U.S. and its allies, and having another guy be recognized as the leader by China, Russia, Turkey, Spain, Mexico. It's going to cause a problem. This is what I was talking about in my last video. They're not going to call it an invasion, because they're going to say, well, the guy we recognize as president, Juan Guaido, even though he's unelected on the right, he's invited us to come in to his country. And since we recognize him as the commander-in-chief, anything that Maduro says, they're just going to ignore. And that's why they're going to be able to kind of work around it as a humanitarian intervention and not another invasion by the United States. We'll leave it there. Like, share, subscribe.